Many people know that the Qur'an has been preserved for over 1,400 years, but very few actually understand how that preservation happened, because keeping a text unchanged for that long is not something simple. Most historical texts have variations, missing parts, or different versions. So how did the Qur'an remain the same? To understand this, you have to go back to the very beginning. When the Qur'an was first revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, it was not sent down as a complete book all at once. It was revealed gradually over about 23 years. Every time verses were revealed, the Prophet would immediately memorize them and then teach them to his companions. But here is the important part. Arab society at that time had an extremely strong oral culture. Memorization was not something rare. It was normal. People would memorize long poems line by line with precision. So when the Qur'an was revealed, many companions began memorizing it completely. These people became known as those who had memorized the entire Qur'an by heart. At the same time, the Qur'an was also being written down. It was recorded on whatever materials were available at the time, such as parchment, bones, leather, and flat stones. And every piece that was written was checked directly by the Prophet to ensure accuracy. So from the very beginning, there were two systems of preservation happening at the same time: memorization and writing. This is important because it created a double layer of protection. If something was written incorrectly, it would be corrected by those who memorized it. If someone made a mistake in recitation, it could be corrected by the written form. After the Prophet passed away, a new challenge appeared. In one of the early battles, many of those who had memorized the Qur'an were killed. This created concern that if more memorizers were lost, parts of the Qur'an could be at risk. So the first caliph, Abu Bakr, made a decision. He ordered that the Qur'an be compiled into a single, organized manuscript. A companion named Zayd ibn Thabit was given this responsibility, but this was not done casually. He used a strict method. Every verse had to be confirmed through both written evidence and memorization from multiple people. Nothing was accepted based on memory alone or writing alone. It had to match perfectly. This compiled version was then preserved carefully. Later, during the time of the third caliph, Uthman ibn Affan, Islam had spread to many regions with different dialects. People were reciting the Qur'an with slight variations in pronunciation. To prevent confusion, he standardized the written text based on the original compilation and sent copies to different regions. He also ensured that people followed the same standard recitation to maintain unity. This step was critical. It ensured that the Qur'an remained consistent across the growing Muslim world. But one of the most unique aspects of the Qur'an's preservation is something that continues even today: memorization. Millions of people around the world have memorized the entire Qur'an, word for word. From children to adults, across different countries and languages, the text is preserved not only in books, but in human memory. This creates a level of preservation that is extremely difficult to alter. If a single word were changed in a printed copy, it would be immediately recognized by those who have memorized it. The text is constantly being recited, reviewed, and passed down exactly as it was. So the preservation of the Qur'an is not based on one method. It is based on a system: revelation, memorization, writing, verification, standardization, continuous transmission, all working together. This is why, when you pick up a Qur'an today, the words you read are the same words that were recited over 1,400 years ago. Not reconstructed, not guessed, but preserved through a process that has remained active in every generation since the beginning